So what's going on, Santa? What's happening? What's popping?
Well, I'm still up here in North Pole, where I'm Mayor Pro Tem and City Councilman, and a former Alaska Public Broadcasting Commissioner. This is my second term in council, but as you know, I'm a candidate for the special election for the U.S. House of Representatives. Our previous congressman passed away in March, so we've been without representation at the U.S. House of Representatives since then. And whoever gets elected won't even be in until September, so we'll have lost more than half a year.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's kind of frustrating. So we're going through a special election to, believe it or not, we have an interesting couple of challenges. We have ranked choice voting up here in Alaska, which for those who don't, it's a little bit different system. It reduces partisanship, it encourages more candidates to run, boosts voter turnout, takes power away from the special interests and out-of-state influence, makes it almost impossible for anybody to rig an election. And up here right now, we have 48 candidates for this one spot. So I can tell that's because of ranked choice voting. So I'm one of 48 candidates, a little bit unusual in that I have already, during my Santa years and pre-Santa, I've had government experience at the federal, state, county. We have boroughs up here, sort of like counties, and city levels. So I'm one of very few candidates probably anywhere who's had it, all those different levels of government. And of course, I have recognition. Most people have heard the name Santa Claus before.
Yeah.
Good for me. So I'm up here as an independent, progressive, democratic socialist. So when I say that, just think of Bernie Sanders.
Of course.
So I'm all for social reform, and I know that we live in a capitalist society and that we're a democratic republic constitution. And I'm also a Christian monk, and also volunteered for vulnerable children in dire straits for more than 2 decades now. Even went on a tour back in around 2007 around the United States to every state, and also District of Columbia, where I was born 75 years ago. Hard to believe. True.
Wow.
Issues: abuse, neglect, exploitation, abandonment, institutionalization, S-chip, foster care, adoption, that sort of stuff. So child health, safety, and welfare has been at the forefront of what I've been doing, and that's sort of what led me into the political arena, directly and indirectly. So that sort of brings you up to date.
That's really cool. Yeah, a lot of your policies are stuff that we talk about here sometimes. Primarily, I play video games and stuff on stream, but every now and then we call them stun locks here, where I talk about political issues and stuff, and everything you talked about is primarily what my positions are as well. So it's really exciting to have you here, and I'm really rooting for you. Ranked choice voting is really cool. I wish for frame of reference, I'm from Texas, so we have not that. We have not that. So so it's really cool that y'all have it up there. I didn't even know y'all had it up in Alaska. So
yeah, different states have. I think there are a few states now that have it at different levels, either at the state level or a borough level, or like a county level or a city level. So people are trying it out, and I think if our process goes smoothly, which I think it will, I think there'll be challenges to it and stuff just because it's new. But I think if it shakes out well, it'll be adopted by a lot of other places. And the nice thing about ranked choice voting is, let's say we have an election like this, and there are 48 candidates. Well, if one of us gets, let's say, 10% of the vote, out of 48 candidates, that would be pretty good. Well, if they get elected, what are the other 90% going to think? Those voters candidate didn't get in. So with ranked choice voting, this time we're picking the top 4 candidates just with a regular vote in our primary. And if I'm among the top 4, for example, when it goes to the general about 2 months from now, there'll be 4 of us on the ballot, and voters can rank by their preference, who they would like to see in office. So they can vote for one person, they can vote, once, or they can vote for 2, 3, or 4 people in their order of preference. And the way the algorithms are set up, the person who winds up, instead of having people come back in to keep narrowing it down. It's all done at once. And the person who's liked by more than 50% of the voters, that's who wins. How about that? So it might not be their first choice, but at least it's someone who's acceptable to them.
Well, and that's how it should be, ideally whoever's most qualified, but whoever the people want the most, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think so too.
Yeah.
So it's not quite like gaming, but there is that element to it.
Well, it's like gaming in the sense that you're ranking on the leaderboard. You know what I mean? You're getting up there. You gotta put in the work and the hours, and then you get up.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
and keep a sense of humor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think having your brand being Santa is really something that's going to be really beneficial for you, and I've been watching your campaign for a minute now, so I'm actually really happy that you're here, and I really appreciate you taking the time today. But a lot of the folks in chat are really excited to see what happens with your campaign. We're rooting for you.
Thank you. Well, a lot of people think it's sort of the ho 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 Santa thing, like in the mall and stuff, and I don't do that. I've used my name to advocate for children, but before my Santa years was Special Assistant to the Deputy Police Commissioner of New York City and a member of FEMA's National Defense Executive Reserve, while I was Director of the Terrorism Research and Communication Center, something most people wouldn't associate with Santa.
Yeah.
Chief of Safety and Security of the Virgin Islands Port Authority, our U.S. territories down there, and Public Safety Emergency Response Chaplain, and taught at universities, colleges, etc. I've got my BFA and MA and everything except a dissertation done for doctorate at New York University. So there's a little bit broader experience than a lot of candidates bring to the table. Definitely. I hope people in Alaska who are actually voting can help with that.
Speaking of, you got anything you maybe want to say about getting people out to vote?
Yeah, please just come out and vote for Santa Claus in the special election. I'd really appreciate it. Would you like to hear some of the things I'm fighting for? You already know some of them just because you're.
I know, but yeah, absolutely. Please share with us.
All right. Well, the last point I was making was the education part of it, and the one thing I've gleaned from all those years in graduate school and graduating from a couple of seminary programs is captured in, if people happen to read the Bible, it's in John 13, verse 34. And it basically means we are to love one another. 3 words. So if you take away anything from your education, anything from the Bible or any other good book out there, love one another. So my campaign is coming from the heart. It's not coming from fear. And that dynamic is love versus fear. And what you see in a lot of campaigns with all the fundraising stuff, which I'm not doing, by the way, by choice, it's mostly fear-based. If you don't elect me, this is something bad that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I don't do that. If you elect me, this is something good that's going to happen. And here's what it is. Medicare for all, union solidarity, like the PRO Act, strong defense, especially up in Alaska, because we're so close to Russia and things are heating up now. We have a gigantic defense array up here, as one might expect. Also improved infrastructure like broadband expansion for education, defense, businesses, etc. Eradicating homelessness, preventing and treating drug addiction, providing best public safety services possible, restoring the child tax credit, protecting women's right to choose, supporting LGBTQIA+ communities, helping to implement train rail service between Alaska and Alberta, Canada, which would then connect us to the lower 48 states, fight for a clean environment. We have some water pollution problems up here, which affect a lot of things. Also, climate change is affecting subsistence up here, the way people hunt and fish. It also affects the permafrost, which is going to have an impact on pandemic challenges. I'm all for defending the Arctic Refuge and protecting Bristol Bay, which is one of the world's largest salmon fisheries. Protecting First Peoples sovereignty, free university and trades education for everyone, for giving student loans. And I'm against things like energy subsidies because of the oil and gas leaks and stuff. And those folks are just laughing all the way to the bank, unfortunately. And I'm all for preventing military suicides and sexual assaults, that sort of thing. And I would like to see Congress take back its war powers from the
Absolutely,
president.
Yeah.
So things like that. So I'm big on defense. We have energy challenges up here. Climate, I mentioned, infrastructure. What I'm trying to do is base this campaign, as I mentioned before, in love. So a lot of people aren't quite used to that, really don't know what to think about it or how to gauge it. I'm not soliciting or accepting campaign contributions because I don't think people should be gauging who they're going to vote for on anything other than that person's platform and previous experience. So those are two things that are pretty easy to get out, like I have been doing on social media, where you and I met on Twitter. So the platform there, by the way, if anybody's interested, is twitter.com/Santa Claus for Alaska, abbreviated AK. That's a state abbreviation. And the website is SantaClausForAlaska.com. If anybody's interested, really good for Alaska, please.
I got both your links in my chat too. ! Guest in chat if y'all want to check out Santa's socials.
Thank you. So when people talk about freedoms and stuff, I'm wondering how some people try and get away with that when they're talking about controlling who can vote, what people can say, who can and cannot protest, what teachers can teach, what students can read, what women can and can't do with their body, and all that kind of stuff. So I think people should look for a very clear message from any candidate. And if the candidate's not being forthright, or they're fudging, or they're basing their messages in fear, the voters should really, really think about voting for someone who's offering something positive, who's very clear with their platform, good sense of humor.
Yeah, I love that sentiment. I'm not sure if you remember. I know I'm Slug, but my full name is the Love Slug. So I have an affinity for the way you're running your platform too. I think we need to have more love and less fear and less hate. I think that's that's the best way to do things. And so I really love to hear that's the way you're approaching your campaign. I think that's.
May I share a blessing with you and your?
Of course. And I have a special request, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Could I get a trans rights from Santa Claus?
Yeah, I support trans rights, of course.
Let's go. Okay. And then if you want to share a blessing with us, I'd love that.
So the blessing is, may you have a lifetime that's filled with happiness, peace, good health, prosperity, and most of all, love, which is the greatest gift.
I love that. Amen. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's so. You're very, very cool, Santa, and we're rooting for you. We're hoping for the best. We need more people like you in our government to make sure that the marginalized folks. So I have a lot of queer folks in my community, so we need more people like you to protect marginalized folks and make things better. So.
All right. Well, blessings to you all. Sending you my love. I'm glad you had me on. I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you on Twitter.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.